Hey, Baba, are you doing a podcast?
Hi everybody, we are at the Luxury Hair Bar in Houston with Monique, owner and mama, and we're just gonna yap and get a blow dry. Blow out. What did I say? Blow dry. We're gonna yap and get a blow out. I'm not even drinking it. Usually like I have a drink with the podcast and I have no excuse.
Would you like a drink? I have wine.
I mean,
To say these fancy words.
okay, we'll go with
Clearly.
rosé.
I'm like, I don't know how to say these fancy words right now.
What we're drinking today, guys. Sunday fun day.
Yes, it's Mama Relax Day.
Yes. And to be honest, I didn't share it, but you're kind of getting me birthday hair ready. My birthday's on Tuesday.
Oh my goodness. Happy early
So-
birthday. I'm glad I can
Thank you.
join you.
Yeah, because I walked in here looking like a lion from Africa.
Crack me up.
True to my roots.
We all have that lion mane. You should see my hair. It's like, but it's
And
not
this
like the
Texas
cute one.
summer does not do justice for me, even if I straighten it. But you know, we move. We've got to run to get indoors again.
I know. Oh, I know.
So how long have you been in this location? Or have you always been here?
Actually, I just started. I moved here in this location February. So yeah, a few, what is it, like what, 5 months, maybe 4 months? I don't know.
And how did you get started? Like knowing that you wanted to do your own thing.
I think that, okay, so my story is kind of wild.
I love it. Wild Thoughts podcast.
I guess
That's
I'm
what
gonna
we're here
walk you
for.
through it because it's kind of a bit of a long story in a way.
Okay.
I actually got my license in 2012, but I practiced for maybe a few months. It just wasn't for me. I got a better opportunity working for a law firm. I mean, I was getting insurance. I was 24 on my own, being able to live on my own, not depending on my parents.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it started. But I always questioned, what am I meant to do? I don't know. I still don't know. I mean, I'm loving my passions coming back for hair. I think I just had a very bad experience. There was not like a mentorship or a apprenticeship that really guided me. Because like, even though you graduate from hair school, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Honest. But like, let's be honest.
Yeah. Until you start actually like working with different types of hair and figuring it out. And yeah.
I mean, you do there is a part where you do work with people, but like you have your backup. I felt like I never built that confidence. I always had the teacher and I'm like, oh, what do I do here? Like I never built that self-confidence in myself and trusted myself in what I was doing. And I think that's where I got discouraged. And then when I got hired at this place for hair, they promise you things like, oh, we're gonna train you, we're gonna give you all this. And there was no specific, and it was partially, again, the lack of awareness, I guess, or research of finding a place that really feeds into that. Like now I know of different salons that have an apprenticeship program, and some are year long.
Yeah.
But I mean, that prepares you to be a badass, I mean, it really does. Like I have a friend of mine who's an owner of a salon, and his program is harsh.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, now since times have changed, it is a little different. It's a little easier. They now offer part-time, but like, anyway, I'm going on a tangent, but it's just really finding and not like, and I guess back then it was just like, I wanted a job. I wanted to get out there, and I didn't do enough research in finding like where I should like belong, Anyway, so this opportunity came up. I got to move out of my parents' place. I got to be on my own, have my own apartment.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm Mexican, so like it's
a big achievement.
Yeah. I mean, because usually a lot of that, I feel like in this culture, it's like in my culture, you're at home until you can really get on your own 2 feet. So
that's the same with us in South Africa as well. Like you don't generally move out when you finish high school and start college. You like live with your parents until, if you're a woman, like until you get married. Like,
yeah, that's pretty much like the same. And I think I did it a little earlier instead of waiting to get married, but
Yeah.
but hey,
I was at
times
19.
are
I was
different.
like, gotta go.
I was like, please. My mom was like, you moved out and you didn't even like what happened? And I'm like, oh, I love you, but
The
on my
independent
own.
woman in us. Sorry.
Right. So then I worked for a law firm for a long time. I struggled, I'm not gonna lie. I went back to school. It took me 10 years to graduate with my political science degree, a bachelor's of science
Wow.
actually.
Yeah.
And the goal was to become a lawyer, and I've had all that experience in legal. I mean, I think I was in it for 13 years.
Yeah.
But it wasn't for me. I mean, maybe down the line, because now
Yeah.
that I have kids, it's a little bit more of a struggle trying to really focus on education, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I guess at the end of the day, believe in yourself and keep trying and
Yeah.
do what's best for you at the end of the day, because no one knows what really happens behind those closed doors.
No, that's true. I love that because I always say, like, my parents couldn't afford, like, okay, you can go to university straight after school. And so I, at the time, was so annoyed because all my friends were going to university. And then I was literally at a time where I studied online while I was working, but I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And like 5 years later, I'm a flight attendant living in the Middle East, enjoying my life. But then even that job, it became so monotonous that it wasn't fulfilling something in me. And it's like, yeah, I'm traveling, I'm seeing the world, I live in Dubai, like it's amazing, but I'm hating having to get up and go to work every day. And even though I'm in London tomorrow, I'm like sleeping when I get there because I'm so exhausted. And so a lot of people were like, why did you leave? Why didn't you, do it longer? But at the end of the day, it's like each to their own. I have friends that have done it for so long, but it just wasn't for me. And I look back and I say, I'm so glad my parents didn't push me into university because at the time, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I started studying 3 years later again and then stopped because I still didn't know what I wanted. And studying and flying was just exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
And then only after I moved here did I go back into study. And now I still finish my degree, but like I'm an entrepreneur, I work for myself. And people are like, but you don't need your degree anymore. And it's not really for climbing the corporate ladder. It's like to better myself as a business owner, but also the accomplishment of, like I have my degree.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think like that would be something I, as a mom now, will push on my child. It's like, if you're not ready, like it's okay. And I think that the pressure for universities in the US is like so much more like bigger than it is back in South Africa. Because I mean, kids start high school year and they're already talking about where they're gonna go in the next 3 years. It's crazy. It's wild to see. And so I will say, like, even though I moved out at a young age, I'll tell my daughter, if you want to stay at home and save, that's fine. You stay as long as you want. If you don't know what you want to study, that's okay. Like, try everything that you need to try, but there's no like specific timeline on anything.
Yeah.
Like, you could do something that you love for 5 years and then wake up and be like, this is not for me anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree. I mean, I think a part of it for me, and I don't know if for you, like you kind of did the same, but like, because because I had a little, I mean, she was a 22-year-old influencer that came in my chair, and we got to talking, and I opened up about how I flunked out of school. Like, honestly, it took me 3 times of flunking out of school to realize, like, no, I want this. I truly want this. Even though I had the support of my parents financially, I was like, no, I'm going to pay for it.
Yes.
Like, it's time for me to now, like, just not coast by. Like, I mean, I was also working, and it really hit with her because she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you shared this. And I'm like, give yourself some grace, honestly.
Yeah.
Give yourself grace, forgive yourself. I mean, like you said, there's no timeline. And I think a part of it, I mean, I don't know here, it's like we are hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
We are very hard, and like, I didn't achieve this goal, and I didn't achieve it. Just because you didn't achieve it now doesn't mean you can't achieve it later.
Yeah.
And I definitely, I mean, it's okay. It's life's a roller coaster, and you gotta roll with it, man.
No, I agree. I love that because, and I love seeing like things about like, oh, Steve Jobs, you know, he only created the iPhone at this age, and Disney only took so many years. And like, it's literally what you're saying. Like, you don't need to finish school, go and study, and then you have your whole life like figured out. Like, it really doesn't work like that. And I think like society puts so much pressure on an 18-year-old to decide like what they want to do for the rest of your life. Like, that pressure is not okay. That messes people up so badly.
Yeah. I mean, I have a degree, but like, I wanted to do it more so again, like, it was before I finished before having my kids.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show them that like I was able and I was capable
To do it.
you know,
Yeah.
to do it. And I may not necessarily practice it, but
But who knows? Maybe in 10 years' time, you're like, you know what, I want to go back. And then you have it. You don't need to like go back and like study again and start all over. But
yeah, I mean,
I always say there's no right or wrong way. Like, just do whatever you feel is right for you. That's it.
yeah.
Everybody's going to have an opinion on somebody else's life. And at the end of the day, it's like, you don't pay my bills. You don't pay my bills.
Yeah, and I think too, and I kind of wish knowing, I mean, of course, my mom, love my mom. She's always been my supporter, always been. And, you know, they always tell you the stuff because they've been through it, but like, we tend not to like, oh, I mean, at least for me, I don't listen to it. And I do and I don't. And now that I'm older, now that I've had kids, I really think that having kids matures you because it's realizing it's not just you, but it's them.
Yes.
And I think now that like I'm having those, not the big adult conversations with my daughter, but really being aware of like, because now it's like, oh, my friend said they don't like me. I'm like, do you believe that?
Yeah.
Or my friend said I'm not cool. Do you believe that? And so now I think like preaching, I want to say preaching, but like really having those conversations of like, believe in yourself. Like, if you don't believe it, like, that
Yeah.
doesn't make you. Do you believe you're cool? Yes. Okay, believe that.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. And I think that's helped me a lot maturing and then realizing, oh, my mom was right. Don't listen to others. But like, you know, but you fall into that in your 20s or even in high school. I feel like it kind of stems because everyone judges each other so harshly because, oh, like, it's the popular girls. And I mean,
Yeah.
I think for me, like, my beauty didn't come until I was older.
Girl, I peaked after high school.
And like, and I think that's hard because when you have the popular girls, they're like, oh, you're like, yeah. And you're just like, when you want to fit in, you're like, why doesn't everybody like me? But instead of owning it, like, you know what, this is who I am. You like me for me or not, you know? But you don't.
Yeah.
You fall into that because, of course, there's also movies of popularity, and so you start believing things that aren't true instead of really. I think that's what's hard, like really teaching everyone to believe and own them themselves. I mean, at least for me. That's why I like the confidence in.
I'm
really
a big advocate for like having good emotional and mental health. And I think that once you understand that, literally nothing can affect you. And I think as moms, especially to girls, it is hard and more difficult now because of social media. Like, not only do they have these girls at school, now they're also seeing girls online 24/7, and it's like, well, why don't I look like this? And why can't I do that? And yeah, that's so funny. I peaked in high school. After high school.
Yeah, I mean, I came also from a family. My mom didn't wear makeup, you know, didn't do her hair. She has beautiful, absolutely beauty, like the lion mane. She really has a lion mane, and our curly hair is that one that shrivels so much that it does. Like, it gets big. It gets big. And, you know, I think I had to learn to how I wanted to look and how I wanted to dress and really teach myself, even though she provided the tools regardless.
Yeah.
But it was something that she wasn't used to because she was used to you're beautiful as you are, and which she is absolutely stunning. I mean, she had it. Like that woman has it. Because I remember like when my parents divorced, and she moved here, and I would come up for the summers. Like she get pulled over, and like it's crazy.
Yeah.
But
No,
that's
ma'am,
the
you
thing.
can go. No worries.
But that's a woman that had that confidence that was built in her, and she knew herself.
But
and
this
like,
is the thing as well. Like so much beauty that other people see is like the confidence that somebody holds. Like you could be just a plain Jane, but just how you carry yourself, like that resonates so much to somebody receiving that energy.
yeah, 1,000%. Like, I kind of wish I knew that. I wish I had that confidence. And I'm still working on it today. Cause like, I mean, I do struggle, in the sense of like my husband. Like, I love my husband. And a part of the reason that I did get here is, we almost got a divorce. And it was a time in our lives that was a bit dark in the sense of like he was traveling to Chicago every other weekend. He was in school for his MBA, and that's what caused him to travel.
Yeah.
And I think that whatever he was surrounding himself with, it just made him a different person.
Okay.
And we eventually did not become a team because I think with marriage, it is teamwork.
Yes.
It's how are we going to help each other get through whatever it is, the tantrums of our kid, they're not listening to us. You know, now it's like we gotta drop off the kids or whatever the struggles are, right? Whatever we make our hard.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I feel like we make our hard. You know, like we make it as easy as we want, make it as hard as we want, and that's fine. And at that point, having my daughter, because I was pregnant with my other one, and then it was already like we were basically roommates.
Yeah.
And as much as I wanted to try, and like I kept trying, like I love him and I still love him, but it was difficult because it got to the point where he was degrading me in front of my child.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's to the point like, no, like
we're not doing this.
No, you can do that to me alone, but to my child seeing that, not okay. And then it got harder because the neglect, the resentment, everything that was going on between us, I just decided like, no, this isn't for me. I had already had my other daughter, and I'm like, I don't want them to see this. I don't want them to think that this is okay.
Yeah, but that's the type of man they will eventually fall for, and it's not that they do it on purpose, like subconsciously, like you think that that's normal.
Yeah, and at that point we were just different. Like he had a different lifestyle. He was living basically in Chicago with other people that are younger, older, whatever.
Different lifestyle.
You know. Yeah. Yes, I understand the fact that he had to go to social events to like build, but like these relationships with these students. But like I felt he was far from home.
Yeah.
You know, like one thing is you leave, come home, but leave that at the door.
Yeah.
And focus on family. And thankfully, we worked through it. Very difficult. We, went to counseling, and I mean, we still struggle today. Not as bad, like not as hard, and maybe I've just kind of become blind to it. I don't know. Yeah. Because I will say, how I got here, I didn't tell him. Yeah. It was my parents knew. I mean, my parents knew that I was opening this because they full on supported me 1,000%. Like, what do we need to do? How do we do that? How do we get there? Yeah. And even though I say I can do girl, because like I did do a lot of this on my own, even though financially they were helping me. Yes. But like it didn't stop me. Like I was like, I need this, I need that. Like I started researching, what can I do? How can I get better? Because again, I've been out of hair since 2012 and the trends have changed. So when I told my husband, I was like, hey boy. Because I originally,
wasn't even like, oh, I'm thinking of, no, I have it. I love that though.
Well, because I will say I quit my job back in 2023. Mm-hmm. I was financially stable and with him or without him kind of thing. But I quit my job to be a stay-at-home mom because of those years that were rough between us, to kind of work on me and figure out what I wanted to do. But the stress then came, you haven't figured out what you want to do. And it's like, again, you go back to, it's like, right now it's the kids. I'm focusing on the kids, making sure they're here. And, you know, your day goes by like where it ultimately is for them because you're like, I gotta get groceries. You gotta do all this like things within the allotted time while you're at school. And you're like, how do I fit these million things? And then be able to come home and devote your time specifically to them. Because they do. They want that attention. And I want that attention with them because, like, I don't want to be like, oh, I just dropped you off at school and then, you know, come home and I'm busy, you know? So I try to do those things. But, anywho, I mean, of course, it got a routine that got monotonous and it was kind of boring after a while. You could only go to Costco and over so many times. And so my mom heard me, and I had met someone, a mentor, that really helped ignite the fire, per se. And I mean, I'm so thankful. I mean, if it weren't for my family, especially my mom, pushing me to believe in myself, I don't think I would have been here because when I would bring up ideas to my husband as to what I would like to do, it was questioned to like 1,000 times. Like, how are you gonna get there? What are you gonna do? I'm like, oh my gosh, you're discouraging me.
All
like,
you need is the okay, let's do it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
even if it's gonna fail, like I never see failures as a failure. Like I hate that word as well. So I always say it's a redirection because you learn from it and it's like, okay, well, it didn't work this way. How can I make it better? And you literally make it better. Like,
yeah, and I mean, if you don't try, you won't know.
And then you sit with the what if for the rest of your life. Like,
Exactly.
that's literally what I like aspire when I do like coaching and mentorship for. Specifically, I target moms because I do feel like your situation. A lot of moms feel guilty of I don't want to go to back to a 9 to 5 job because then it's like I see my kids. They eat, they go to bed, and that's it. Like we only have the weekend, and so a lot of moms give up their life to be a present mom. And I always say like if you have a talent or you have a passion for something, like channel it into something. When your kids get to a certain age where you do have a little bit more time, like this is where you can get your life back. But a lot of women don't do it because they don't have the support. And for me, I've cut off so many friends. And I will say, like, my family and my husband has always been supportive. My husband, he's like, he can't catch a break. Because since we've met, like, I'm always doing something else. Even if I'm working a full-time job, I'm like, I just feel like I need to channel this here. And he's just like, okay, cool. Like, I think he knows even if he had to say no, I'm still going to do it anyway. So there's no point in even like being negative because I would argue him with about his negative energy. I'm like, you've already put it in the universe that it's going to somehow fail by saying something negative. So, and I think that a lot of women like don't follow through with what they are good at or what they want to, follow their passion in because of men not realizing what they say. And I don't think that they do it on purpose. I think that they just don't think before they speak. And so when you come with an exciting idea like, hey, I think I'm going to be really good at this, the first thing that they switch to is like logical thinking.
Yeah.
Where are you going to get the time? We have kids. Financially, how are you going to do this? And then most of the time, like, you don't need a big financial background to start a business.
Right.
Like you have to, there are people that come from nothing and they build it up to be something, even if it's not a multi-million company at the end of the day, like just following what you want to and your dream, like you have to. Because that's where resentment comes from. Like 5 years later, imagine you have like a friend that says, oh, I eventually opened up, my hair salon. And then you're sitting there like, oh, she did it. I never did it because of my partner. That's not resentment that like you want as well. And so it is so difficult. And I totally see where you're coming from. Like,
Then you see me. It's the weekend, and I'm glad that he's become supportive and will watch our kids. Not that he's a babysitter or anything, but like it's time for me to be a dad.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
You were gone for 2 years, where just Penelope and I.
Yeah.
I mean, even though he would come home, but he had to study. He had a full-time job, and he was busy, and I understood. But I mean, thankfully, I don't. I mean, I don't think it affected her. I think. But if it were the tables turned that I was doing that, I think I would feel the mom guilt that I'm not there, I'm not doing enough, not doing. She's sick and I can't be there because I'm out of town. Like I think as a mom, that's what happens is that we take that role and because I mean, again, kind of like I kind of did a powwow with some of my friends. We were talking about that, and maybe it's because dads aren't as close because they didn't have the baby in their belly. And I mean, I guess it's like natural for us to like incline to do that. I mean, I know there's women that don't feel that connection, and that makes me sad sometimes because it's like, how could you not? Like, I have that child in me. Like, gosh, like I mean, I get emotional just thinking about it because I can never like think anything bad or like how could I be like no, like I want to do more for them, and I think even though my parents got divorced at a very young age, so very young, and but that's a whole nother story. But seeing my mom push herself and become the woman that she has today, and the sacrifices that yes, like she looks back that she made because she did miss out on a lot of things with us being young. Because it's three of us, but I'm gonna tell you that woman gave me a life. I mean, we had to travel. I mean, and when I say travel, like we went to Europe for 2.5 months. So like when she would take the downtime, it's like it's great. And that's one thing like I definitely aspire to do because I want my children to see the world. Different things that my mom could have done and more. Like not that it's a competition or anything, don't get me wrong, but like, I want to be able to do more for them.
Because that's what you remember. Like that's the core memory for you. Like your mom was doing it by herself, and she still managed to do that for 3 kids.
Yeah, and that I do like that I've noticed because it is really learning to read each child differently because you'll realize, I guess, not right now, like for me, because they're so young, but like when they're at each age, she says everyone needs something different. And like she always did that. She helped us in different ways that would impact us. And it was always different, because we're all our own little individual selves. Because ultimately, she did get remarried. It was 7 of us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My stepdad, I mean, I don't want to call him my stepdad because he's more like my dad. He was more involved in my life. And he had 4 kids, and it was fun. Growing up was fun because even though we were at home and bored and they were always working, we had fun.
You had enough.
Yeah, we had
enough.
Each other. I mean, again, it stems to how different it is. Like what we were kind of talking about earlier. It's like we were left alone. We were fine.
Yeah.
Survival of the fittest, I guess.
No, for sure. But I always say a lot of, us as an adult, we actually don't realize, or some people don't realize that a lot of how they are is because of their upbringing. So like the generational curses that you carry. Does your husband have a good relationship like with his parents?
Yeah, I mean they're a very small family though. It's just his parents and his brother, and he has like one aunt and uncle.
Yeah.
I don't know. He is a white. I don't know how that stems to
different culture and upbringing.
So maybe because it was so small, like it was just them that they were used to that, and I feel like maybe being in a bigger family, maybe I learned how to be more considerate of others. Even though some of my family members might say differently, but I mean, I really do. I think what I've learned up till now is owning in on how to help each other because I mean I want to take it back to like right now my daughter's in private school and I had a bit of a fallout with some of the moms, but I just want it. Like, it's not about me. It's about her and surviving motherhood. And how can we help each other?
Yes.
How can we, instead of making it a competition of what others have and what don't have, and I mean, I think I just got maybe involved in the wrong group, or because it's not as bad as like it makes sound. Because like we all work through it. At the end of the day, we're all grown women and we're all good now.
Yeah.
So like, but like really, that was my thing. It's like I got judged for setting a boundary, something that I didn't like that was happening. Okay, I guess I have to tell the story. And I know you're gonna know because it's gonna be on social media. But I mean, look, we're good now. So if it breaks us, fine, whatever. But what happened was my daughter's school is a private school, and they have an event where you meet the head of the school, the director of the school, and it's done at the nun's house, and because it's a Catholic school.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this girl who I was very close to, my bestie, like I thought we were like ride or die. Like I mean, I was stay-at-home mom, but we were working out together, a lot. And well, she slapped my husband's ass at this event in front of lots of parents. I didn't see it happen. She came and, was like, oh, laughing at our table and was like, oh my gosh, I made your husband so red. And I was like, why? Because I slapped him in the butt in front of, and she still came to say it. I'm like, I looked at her and I was like, that's not okay. Like we're not dating people. We're not in our 20s, like at a bar getting drunk and I mean, and it hurt me because she turned around and with another mom that I thought I was close to, they're just laughing. Like it really felt like a reflection of high school. Like they're laughing like, like I slapped his ass, like he's totally fine, and it's like, no, like I'm glad. Look, to each own. If you like your husband's booty smack, okay, fine. But if I don't like it, then respect my boundary.
Yes.
Like, and it doesn't mean like what I mean, whether
that's just inappropriate. Like I don't think like I can even say like my best friend has ever done something, even when we're drunk. Like no.
Yeah, even my best friend that I've been friends like who met my husband the night of her bachelorette pub crawl because that's how I got introduced to him was at a pub crawl when we were in our 20s and she's like, I would never spank him, and I've known him longer than that girl, and whatever it is, like I mean, I don't know. But the hard part was the after effect. The after effect that like, and I say like what I was hearing, whether it's true or not. Like, I'm psycho. Like they kept saying things like, I'm psycho. I have mental problems. I'm weird. My husband must be cheating on me. Instead of really like talking to me about it.
Like an apology, like, hey, in the moment I didn't think anything of it, but I'm so sorry that it, hurt your feelings.
Or even the excuses, like I was saying, it was like, oh well, I thought we were close enough because like I'd go over to your house with my daughter so that they could have a play date, and I would talk to your husband while he's meal prepping, so I thought it was appropriate for me to spank his butt. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like I'm glad that you could do that with other people. Like, good for you. But like that's not me. And it sucked because I shut down. I didn't know what else to do. I shut down. I didn't know what was being said around the moms and making me look because sometimes and I'm guilty of it too. Like I tend to believe what's being said instead of like, wait, what's her side of the story? And the school did get involved and they told me the best thing is to keep quiet, and just kind of let it pass. And I thought it was a different challenge to kind of learn and realize like I know I'm not those things. Like I know that I don't like to always like talk about, but I think I need to learn how to own it. But like about who I am as a character, but like I think that my kindness gets mistaken for weakness. I just like to be nice. Like ultimately, like whether or not I'm portraying certain things that people read on, and that's fine. Like make your assumptions, make your opinions about me, but I know who I am. And I've always told my daughter, you got like both of my daughters, be nice. Being nice gets you a long way. And even if the person is mean, be nice. Because
you don't know who needs it as well. Like I always say, like I lost a best friend to, I'm trying to think of a word I can use that YouTube is not going to shut us down, but to self-inflicted causes. And for me, ever since then, I changed. I was never like a mean girl in school. I was friends with everybody. But I mean, it's like high school. When you're a kid, you know, you see something, you make fun of it, you giggle, you this, you that. But ever since then, I'm just like, you just honestly, you don't know what somebody is going through, and you don't know how somebody would interpret what you think is a joke, and it's just not okay. Like,
Yeah.
and the worst part is like, this is a mom, so imagine how she raises like her kids to do, like, you know what? Even if you hurt somebody else's feelings, it's not your fault.
Right.
You can't do that. You can do that.
I mean-
Accountability. Like, even though you really were doing something that you thought was like harmless, if you hurt somebody else's feelings and they interpreted it that way, like, it's your fault. You need to
Own up to
and
it. Yeah.
apologize. Like,
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I shut her out. Like, she apparently had told a friend of mine that I got close to, she wanted to see this stuff stew, like to see my reaction of what I would do about it. But like, honestly, I just shut her out. I defriended her. I was not working out with her anymore because the fact that, like, for me, it's like if I was in the wrong, I would be the first to be like, hey man, I'm really sorry. Like, I really didn't mean it. Like, that's not my intention. Like, I own it. Like what you're saying, take accountability for your actions, because not every action is going to be perceived as okay, and that's okay because that's what makes us us, right? We all have our own boundaries, we all have our ways of living, and that doesn't make us a psycho or have mental problems because we don't agree with it. Like, that's great. You want your husband's butt smacked? Cool. Like, all right, then.
Slapped by me.
Exactly. Like, I know. I feel weird sometimes, like, going to give him those hugs, but I'm like,
I can just imagine my husband's reaction. Like, it would be a quiet car ride home, and then he'd be like, "What the actual fuck? Like, why would you do that?"
yeah. And I mean, like, we worked it out. Like, I ended up reaching out, like, all right, because she tried to reach out in places where I thought were inappropriate, like, we're at a birthday party, sure, can we talk? And I'm like, no, like, my daughter's having fun. I don't want to talk about this yet. I don't want to hear what's happening, like, we need to work this out a different time, like, not here. And of course, I got perceived as like, I can't believe you, you're so rude. But it's like, no, this is not the appropriate time. Our kids are here. Like, what happens if we get into like, I don't know how you're going to react. I might be cool. I might yell, but like, I'm not going to, I never believe in hitting or any of that. But like, I don't know you that well. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I'm kind of nervous, like, I'm not about that life, and I'm not about, and I think too, it stems from my culture. My mom's always said, keep it, keep it closed. Like, you don't want that kind of, I mean, what are they think about it? I don't know. Like,
Beat up at a child's birthday party.
I mean, like, like, I don't want to ruin some kid birthday party for us having a screaming match outside. Like, I don't know, but
Oh my god.
I mean, I know like she might hear this, but like sorry, not sorry at the same time, because like I hope. I mean, it just is what it is. It's a crazy story that happened to me, and I thought it was something to be shared. Like, okay, share. I mean, we're okay now, like I said.
Yeah, it's funny.
We work literally like Secret Lives of Private School Moms.
I literally was about to say, like, I didn't watch this Housewife the moment.
Oh my
God, I
god,
don't
yes.
watch it, but like I follow them on TikTok, and I'm like, it's giving,
Anyway, I think my main message would be like, no matter what someone says, no matter how they put you down, just learn to pick yourself up. Like, even though it's really hard to, like, you still haven't built that confidence in you, it's just don't believe it. Those are just words.
It's really just the reflection on themselves. Like, I know that people always say, like, the most prettiest girl, that's a total bitch. Like, how is it a reflection on herself? Like, it really, they need to do some inner work that they don't even realize that there's like generational trauma going on for them to be the way that they are. But I'm still laughing within me because I'm like, I live in the country. I don't know if this stuff happens in the country. I've got to wait until Hales is in like school.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's just some crazy wild stuff. I mean, I love, ultimately, I think it was just, now I've surrounded my family with other family members that they tend to be older, but like, I feel like we have the same morals.
Yeah.
And we're out of that because I'm not in that party scene anymore. I'm not a 25-year-old trying to get attention from someone or anyone at that point. And these moms that I've built these relationships, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful that this happened.
But it's a stepping stone. I feel
Exactly.
like you learn from it, and not everybody's meant to be in your life for a long period of time. But I do think you get to a point where it's like you already can feel within yourself, like this is just not for me. And I'm so much like that. Like if I'm around people that start to drain my energy or it's always negative, like I just automatically shut down. As much as I want to be the person I am and like give you a chance and give you a chance, because you're not a bad person. It's just it's
We're not
so
aligning.
draining. Yeah, like we're literally vibrating at different frequencies, and it's just draining going out with you all the time because, like, I sit there and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not for me.
Yeah, and it's again like, I think too, I was very, not, I don't want to say closed minded. I don't know if that's the right word, but we did become, that group became very cliquey that I wasn't allowing my daughter to experience
Something
getting
else.
to know other children. And
Yeah.
from that, like, I met, families that they vibe with me. Like their morals are the same.
Yeah.
They don't drink, and it's refreshing to have someone that's similar to me. And I'm not being judged because I don't drink alcohol. It's not that I don't want to. It's not that I have a problem. It's just that I
don't
prefer
feel
not
for
to.
it, yeah.
Like whether or not it makes
Change
me
anything in
sick.
your life, like
Yeah. I might have coffee.
done deal. Done
And
deal.
like, again, to each what they want to do. And I just think that a part of me is like, I don't want to judge people. I want them to live their life the way they choose to, and I think everyone should.
Yeah.
Honestly.
100. I wholeheartedly live by that, and I'm just like, I've fallen out with people, but I wouldn't say fallen out because it's never that I'm not in your life because something bad happened. It's just like I want you to live your life to the fullest. And in 10 years' time, if we're on the same vibration again, like come back, like it's fine. But I don't understand why I need to fight with you because I don't want to go to the club. Like all of my best friends, I'm the only one that has a kid, and I'm the only one that's married. No, my best friend's married, but they don't have kids. But they still live a party lifestyle. And I'm like, I've done all these things when I was 21 to 25. And as much when I go and visit them now, like I will still make the effort because they are truly so important to me. But they also understand, like, if I say no to the second night in a row, like that's not gonna happen. This is not me, guys. Like, I don't want to wait today feeling hungover. I don't want to be tired when my child is up at 9 and she's excited to like do something fun, like I don't want to sit all day just drinking. So I'm gonna go to the water park and I'm gonna freaking go down the water slide with my child. And
Yeah, absolutely.
it's just about also finding people that respect your boundaries. Like my best friends, like I said, they're all single, they still party, they drink to get drunk, but it's at the end of the day, like that doesn't change how they feel about me because I'm not there telling them how to change their life. I'm like, you guys do what you need to do. And when you want to have brunch, I'll be up and ready. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, you will catch me drinking, but it's out of town, girls trip or a husband and wife trip.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have to wake up and take care of my kid.
Done deal.
Because like I don't want to also fall into the I'm hungover and then I blame the kid because I'm tired,
And they don't understand. Like, I always say that to my friends. I'm always like, have you ever had a hangover with a toddler? Like, they don't understand what a hangover is. They don't understand sleeping. Well, I'm quite lucky. Like, Hales wakes up at like 10 a.m. sometimes. So that's really good. But to be just like not wanting to get out of bed, no, that's not happening. But also for me, it's like, especially if she's with, like if we're at a barbecue at somebody's place, like I'll never have more than 2 to 3 drinks because I also feel like what your kids see automatically becomes what they will start doing when they're older. It's like, oh, it's okay. I've seen my mom have like 10 drinks, so I'm okay to do it. So
Yeah, like, you know, I've been involved in, and maybe this also stems from my mom because my mom wasn't a drinker. Like she wasn't, you know, did drug, nothing. Like she was clean as a whistle,
yeah,
a weasel. And you know, and she built that for me. And when she started dating my stepdad, you know, he did drink beer. He was a smoker, and it was like
Yeah.
my mom was like, she was true to herself. She was like, I am not dating a smoker. I'm not dating a drinker. Like we're not bringing this in my
oh, she
house.
sounds like my lady.
So like, and that's where I learned to also build boundaries too, you
Yeah.
know, and
Because
it
you
was
can't,
fun.
like, if that's not for you as well, and like you deeply love somebody, those are the things that also like build the wedge. If you start to resent, like, oh, the house always smells like smoke and I hate it, then yeah, like I always say, no, you want to date somebody. Like these are conversations that you have to have in the beginning, not like fall in love and start this whole life and then a year later it's like, oh, but I hate that she smokes. Well, of course she's gonna turn around and say, well, this is how you met me. This is what you fell in love with. Like, no, on those second date when you're about to like, okay, like I want to see where this is gonna go. These are the things you have to say. Like, actually, I don't really like smoking. Like, I don't like smoking in my apartment. I don't smoke, so I don't like my things smelling like smoke. It's little things that like it's really not that little.
How did you get into this? Doing the podcasting and
Oh my word! So
do you want curls in your hair? By the way, sorry. Before I
oh
start,
yeah, that's perfect. Thank
Okay.
you. Okay, so those are my long story. So left South Africa, went to be a flight attendant. Oh, well, I first worked in retail, and then when I was 21, I went to be a flight attendant. I loved what I did, but not long term. And so I always knew, like, I always felt like I was meant to be a corporate girly. And so eventually met my husband, moved out here, went into corporate. And then when I was pregnant and had Haley, I
love that name, by the way. That's so pretty.
Thank you. We moved out here, but my company, I was working for LVMH at the time. They still wanted me in Miami on site. And so at 3 months, they were like, can you come back from maternity leave early? I was like, it's okay. Yeah, she's an easy baby. Cool. It will be nice because now like my in-laws get to spend time with her. But they wanted me out there like 3 weeks at a time. And so I was like, well, technically I'm like still living in Miami and visiting my husband in Texas. So this is not working. And then I found a job back in travel, which I absolutely loved. But when I moved out here and I was working, like waiting for my work permit, I was never the one to just like sit still and not do anything. So even when I was working as a flight attendant in Dubai, one of my best friends was a DJ and I loved throwing events. And we were like, well, why don't we like collab and do something together? And so started doing that and I enjoyed it. I loved it.
Sounds fun.
Because I was in the club all the time as well. So I was like, well, if I'm in the club, why don't I just make money from being in the club as well? And so he would DJ and then we would throw the entire like concept for the night. And then when I moved out here, I had to wait for my work permit. And I just, after like 2 months, I couldn't sit still. I was like, I need to do something. I need to do something. My husband was working in a restaurant at the time and he's a really good cook. And so COVID hit. And so I was like, why don't we like try and combine like my events mindset with like your cooking? And so we started doing like private events like in people's houses. People had like, because it was COVID, so people still wanted to have a party but they couldn't go to a restaurant. And so they hired him as the chef to come and cook on site. And then I'd set up like, okay, you're having a baby shower, I'd set up like your baby shower decor or this and that. Then we moved out here just as that was kicking off. And I was like, well, now I have a baby, I don't have time, I need to find like a new client base out here where we just like started getting like followers and whatever in Miami. I don't know anybody, and I was doing like a few things out there because in our neighborhood everybody was new to Texas, and so I was like, okay, cool, doing some things. But I just started like my corporate job in travel and had the baby, and I was like, no. But I always wanted to go back into being a business consultant. So my brother has his own firm back home, and like I would always help out there and help him get like local retailers like out here into the US, and he was doing that like also local retailers out into UAE. And so I was like, I loved events, but I don't want to be at the events anymore. Okay,
Yeah.
so what can I do? And then I was like, okay, well, I love like planning as well, but a lot of my background was just like I just loved sitting and listening to people tell me like they had a passion for something, because I would just sit with them for hours and I'd say like, okay, like how can we make this happen? How can we do this? How can we do this? And then eventually like people would just open businesses from us just sitting and yapping.
Wow.
And so my husband was like, why don't you just go into coaching and mentorship? Something that's not as serious as like being a business consultant, but you can genuinely like just do what you want to do. And then I said, that's all good and well, but like all my clients that I know is in South Africa and in Dubai. So if I want to grow here, like how can I meet people? Because we weren't really coming to the city because it's a 45-minute drive.
Right.
But it's not bad, but also like I was new to Texas. Like we don't know anybody here. So the only people we knew were like the neighbors that were moving in. And so like to start networking, I was like, for a business to be successful, you have to network. And so I said, okay, you know what? Like, why don't I start a podcast? And then that way, like just try and grow with like in Conroe, the Woodlands area, meet people and get out there. And that's kind of how like the podcast popped up. But I just enjoyed doing it. Initially I started with a friend of mine, but we just had different visions. Like I wanted to make it something where I can actually like grow the business from it and also help women. Like I wanted to interview women entrepreneurs that were moms as well. And I wanted it to be like a platform where other ladies could like listen to our stories and be like, well, if they're moms and they can do it, like why can't I do it?
Right.
And then season 2, which is this season that I've started, I've kind of just like been trying to figure out how to do it by myself and get myself out there. And I've met some amazing people, like even with you, like just out of nowhere. And I always say like that's serendipity. Like just I don't believe in coincidences. I believe like people's time frames are meant to meet at a certain time. And I've just, if it goes viral, kudos. If it doesn't, I've honestly just enjoyed the journey. And so that's where I am right now. And so trying to grow the US space of like clients. But yeah, other than that, it's been fun. I've met some very nice people that now like we've become friends from it, and yeah, we'll see how it goes, where it goes.
Yeah, this has been so fun. Like I never saw myself doing something like this, but this is fun. Like I don't know. I just hope it does touch other women like who are struggling through, maybe might be going through the same things with me and being so hard on themselves and trying to fit in the society, like, whether it's through a school, like private school mom status or whatever, because like, I mean, I don't know if it's just built or why does it ultimately come down that women, I feel like, can be friends, but then they can't be friends because it's like, it either gets competitive or comparison or comparing what others have, and then you kind of fall into that, and then you kind of want to be that, and it's just like a lot. And to me, like, I guess after having kids, it's like I just want to go through motherhood having fun, and whether it's a mom that has the same values, same morals, and we can become good friends. And I mean, come on, like at the end of the day, I feel like we as women naturally just gossip.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you can find that one friend that you keep it between just you two, which I have found, and honestly, she's been my support system through all this, because she saw like when all this went down, and she's had my back. Like that's like she kind of, I felt kind of sad in a way, because she was defending my honor, shall I say, to other moms, and like kind of like giving them the heads up of like what had happened to me. And then kind of like she felt like, how do you say it, like where like it didn't make her look good, know. in a sense, and like I can only share so much appreciation because it meant so much to me having that one person, because you know it is tough doing it alone. It's tough, and your husband only knows so, like can only feed so much into it, right? Like and only listen to that same story or like pick it, like you know what I mean, like dissect like what happened here, and there was countless times and she saw what happened firsthand, and you know, and I'm glad that I am who I am because it showed like I just wasn't gonna be a part of it, you know, and yeah,
I always say like last year I went through like a transition, I would say, with my very best friend who I thought like would probably be in each other's lives forever. But shit happens. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. But it wasn't like an ugly fallout. I just think like we're different stages in life and it sucks. But at the end of the day, like if it's not meant to be that we're meant to be in each other's life, and as much as like I fought for it because I thought that, you know, like emotionally he was just like detached, and I would say like my mental well-being like understood the situation a little bit more. And some people don't, and if you need to move on without me, like it's okay, like I'm not angry at it. I don't have, if you come back tomorrow and be like, hey, you know, I fucked up or it just wasn't our time, I'm always going to be the person that says like, I totally agree, like it wasn't, so long as like the fallout is not crazy. Because I always say like, I'm okay if we fall out, but if there's disrespect, like that's it. You can fix a broken heart, you can fix like tears that have been shed, but you cannot fix like disrespect, because that's something that means a lot to me. Like I don't think like I would disrespect anybody, especially somebody that's close to me. And so it just happens. And I always say like, unfortunately, like you have to just sit at tables with people that, you know, enlighten you and want the best for you and is not in competition for you. And there's a saying that says like, there's people that will pray for you and there's people that will prey on you. And a lot of the time when we are younger and we have all these friends and we feel like, oh, these are the friends I'm going to have for a lifetime, no, those are really the ones that are stabbing you in the back or talking shit behind your back when you're not there. And so for me, like that means a lot to me. And so I always say I have a small circle of best friends. They always laugh because people will be like, everybody's your best friend. I'm like, no, like I have best friends and it is a number of them. But when I call somebody my best friend, that's like, I will take a bullet for you. Like that. And that's because I know it as well. And I feel it as well. So I know that if I'm not in a room and somebody talks bad about me, that person is either saying something or they're getting up and leaving. And that's it.
Yeah.
And you learn it. Like when I lived in Dubai and I was doing parties, like everyone was my friend. I was, of course,
because you can get them into things, right? It's like, what can they get from you? And
table service, everything. Everybody was my friends. I walked in the club, I knew everybody. It felt nice, but I just genuinely, I was never that person. I was never that person. Like I said, I peaked in high school. I like after high school, so it's like I just always wanted to be friends with people because I just genuinely am a friendly person. And I think like that's what my husband says as well. Because a lot of my best friends are guys. And so when we first met, he was like, why? Like, what is this dynamic? Until he met my girl best friends. And he's like, actually, I feel more comfortable when you go out with your guy friends and with your girlfriends. But I'm just like, at the time I went to a girl high school as well. And so girls were just flooded with so much drama, and I couldn't take like, okay, but we're friends with her, why are we talking shit about her? And with guys, it's like if they don't like something or someone, they say it to your face and it's like, okay, cool, like beef is over. It is what it is.
Yeah, it gives you the opportunity to talk about it and and move on. And I think that's where we're all guilty of, is we kind of like do the whispers behind each other's back instead of like, because I'm very guilty. I don't like confrontation. And you know, and I mean, I'm not going to say that I hadn't done some gossiping before. I trusted a friend and I told her something, but then finding out that everyone knew already and I thought I was the gossiper that started it. So I was like really hard on myself about it. I mean, I did talk to the mom and I was like, look, I apologized. And like I still today, like I know our friendship will never be close because of it. And look, she's very entitled to that. I mean, look, like I probably wouldn't want to be friends with someone like me at that point when I said something like that. And so like I do make mistakes, and I'm a big believer.
It's human nature. Like, I think like there's nobody in this world can tell me that they don't gossip. Like, those people in church, like, I know you gossip about some people that come into church.
I mean, yeah. Or did you see? Yeah, I mean, come on. There's bound to be some of that, because I mean, like some churchgoers do drink.
I know that the pastor
on.
saw me pick up my phone and read something for a second. Like, it happens. I think like the severity of it. You know, I think that we need to check ourselves if we're constantly like. The difference is like if we're talking about a situation, that's not gossiping. It's a situation that happened. Like, it's known. Like, at the end of the day, it's known. But if we're like, if you're genuinely like with somebody and then like you fully start trashing them, and then the next day like you're with that person again, like that's where I find it difficult to like make friends. Right? Not make friends. It's just like I'll walk away from a friendship, because if you can do that in my presence, I can just imagine like what you're saying about me.
Yeah, like, I mean, I sent back to this one friend, you know, like I would laugh because she'd be like, oh, so and so is so cool, blah, 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 but she sucks in this way. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, you like hype them up and then you're like, boom. And I'm like, damn, but like, it's true, you know? And it's funny because like in that group, you know, she got to one point where she texts me, she's like, respond to the picture I sent. And look, it was a mom, absolutely stunning mom. Like she's so sweet, so bubbly, so fun. But you know, some people prey, like you say, they prey on that because they don't. You know, I think ultimately, like you say, it's a reflection on the person. They're not accepting for who they are, so they're always trying to tear down people because they're not okay with who they are. And like this mom, oh my gosh, these pictures that she had, stunning, like stunning maternity pictures, like Vogue type, like legit Vogue type pictures. And I mean, I loved it. And I had nothing bad to say. Like, I mean, look, like I wish I could have done those pictures, like personally. I'm not gonna hate on them because like I felt like a freaking buffalo. You know, I was huge.
I hated mine. I didn't even show people. We don't have it printed, and I don't even look back at it.
Yeah, like I never did them. I was like, Mom, I was like, why aren't you doing it? I mean, I kind of like, I wish I did, but like at the same time, like I wasn't accepting of my body, and like I didn't feel sexy. I felt huge, and like for this mom to have done that, like I admire that because she stays true to who she is. She doesn't care what people think, and like I want to strive to be that person that I want to strive to be like, where I don't care what people think. You know, because at the end of the day, you can't be friends with everyone, you can't please everyone, and that's okay. And so like I think that's another thing that got a bit toxic, you know, was always talking bad about other people instead of like, you know what, why don't we, like, now that I'm hanging out with other moms, we don't talk about others. It's so refreshing. It's just like, how are you, how's it going, how's your new business going? Like, it's questions, and it's reciprocal because we want to know about each other. And seeing these moms too that are very involved in their kids' life, and I'm like, wow, like this is awesome. Because like I felt like I'm very involved and like to communicate with my children, because I don't want to treat them like a baby, you know, either. Like I want to like talk to them like a little, not so much adulty, but like, you know, where you get down to their level and explain things, because you know they are asking a million questions, they're curious, and instead of shutting them down, you really explain. You know, because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I got irritated. I'm like, can you just give me a minute? Like I can't explain everything all the time. But
oh my word, that's my little one. Like just yesterday we're coming back from Galveston, and I mean, like on the sidewalk where she was standing, like I saw a roach, and I was like pulling her in the car for 30 minutes. Where's the roach? Why? And I'm like, no, he's going home. It's dark, you know, like we don't want to play with it. It's dirty. But why? Why is it dirty? And I'm explaining to her why it's dirty. And then she's 5 minutes later, it's silent. I'm like, okay, cool. She's going to fall asleep. But why? Where's his family? Why is he alone? And I was just like, Haley, at this point, like the roach is gone. Like, stop. There's only so much I can tell you about it.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Those 1,000,005 questions are no joke. Like sometimes I'm just like, I'm just trying to drive here, and I'm trying to make sure that we get from point A to point B safely, please. Like what is it to, like, Mom, can you get the book that's on the ground? I'm like, no, I cannot turn around. I cannot turn around. You see the car beside you? You see the other car? Well, we might collide with them if I do that. And like they don't understand, but it's like, it's so hard. And And I laugh though, like, because my daughter, my oldest, because she's 5 and more aware, and she cracks me up because she's like, Mom, when I'm a mom, I'm gonna get, because like I tend to say no. Like I try to use treats as like a special treat. You kind of earn those. Like how did you do? How did we do? Did we eat all our food? XYZ. And she's like, Mom, when I'm a mom, I'm gonna always let them have as much candy as they want, get them as much toys as they want. I'm never gonna say
sure
no.
I said that as well when I was younger.
And I'm like, okay, well, I can't wait till you're a mom and see how that goes for you. And it cracks me up though. Like I think kids are such a hoot, and like it's funny because when you have your second one, it's so different from your first. And like my second one, I don't know, because I'm trying to still build the awareness on my first one, but my second one, I don't know, is because all the attention really went to the older one, or the nanny was raising the second one, and while I'm trying to survive life and work. And but like she just like, oh, the cutest thing that she'll do, she'll like, I'll be doing laundry and she sees like her little nightie, it's hanging and it's drying, and she's like, Mommy, did you wash that for me? I'm like, yes. Oh, thank you, Mommy. Like this cute, like just awareness of appreciation. And like I'm struggling on teaching Penelope. I'm like, Penelope, can I just like get a thank you, like instead of like you have to do this?
That is so funny.
It's so different. And like I also like struggle with that battle because I'm like, I don't ever want to feel like or come across to Penelope as like, Camille's better, or you know what I mean? Like, I guess I kind of just, it's me in my head more so, right? But like, I try to like be delicate because I don't want to hurt her feelings.
Yeah. I interviewed my mom for the first episode of this season just to compare like her, like being a boomer and me as a millennial, like how our moms like very different. And I had asked her, I was like, who's your favorite child? And she's like, I don't know, because we always joke, like even with my grandmother, we would always be like, who's your favorite? And they would always say, I don't have favorites, I love everybody equally. And I say to her, I'm a mom now, and I can guarantee you that you have a favorite. I'm not saying that it means you love them differently. I think you love your kids the same, but every parent has a favorite. And like even for her, like we're 3 siblings, so I'm like, even if your favorite has changed, I can also see that, because maybe like maybe I'm your favorite now because like we're closer, you live with me, you this and this and this. But I like growing up, I knew like my eldest was her favorite, and I'm like, he's for sure not your favorite now. And she's stuck on like, no, I love you all the same. I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, my siblings will say the same because like my brother, he had a baby. I think she's now a year old, turning 2 this year, and so like, of course, Penelope was the first grandbaby technically because my step siblings have babies, but like that's a whole different dynamic. Yeah, for my mom, it's different because like she's not involved because they have their mom, and that's perfectly fine. And so like for my mom, like she is in love with my baby, and and it's fine, but like there is a little bit, sometimes a little that jealousy that comes out, like why can't she be like that with my baby, and I see how she treats her kids. And I mean even Camille gets it too, because like my mom will be like, Penelope, and I think she kind of feels away because she is the first one, and like Camille is doing those cutesy things that my mom makes sure that Penelope is aware that she's just as cute, she goes above, I feel like she goes above and beyond to make sure she's not left out, which is a good thing, I think. I don't know.
No, I totally see that. So my eldest nephew, we say like he's my mom's favorite. Like there's no doubt about it. And then Haley's the only girl of 3 boys. And so I'm like, we know that she's your favorite because she's the only girl. Like you get to do cutesy things with her and everything. But we still say like Elijah, who's like the oldest nephew, he is her favorite grandchild. And she'll say, he's not my favorite, but he was the firstborn, and you have a soft spot for the firstborn. It's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, when you know, you know. Yeah. And that's okay. I mean,
yeah, it happens. But this is what I say as well. It's like, I don't have a second kid right now, but it's like sometimes I sit and I'm like, how do I share all this love that I have for like the first child with the second? Which again, like it comes naturally. This is just like our mind that like overthinks everything. But I think like once you like feel the kick or know you're pregnant and the baby's here, like everything changes. But like your first kid, like you learn you become a mom with your first kid as well, and so
You
there
learn.
is a little bit of a soft spot there.
Yeah, I mean that was my same mentality when I was going in for the second, because I thought, I mean, my struggles weren't as great with my husband. Like we were still struggling. I felt like I had to be the one to mature quickly. I had to be the one to do a lot of things that daddies don't do, as far as like take time off of work and
Yes.
and do all that. And of course, I mean, part of me, I didn't want to miss that doctor's appointment. I want to know what's going on with my kid. If she's sick, I want to be there. I want to, she needs my warmth. And not that daddy couldn't do it, but like a little bit.
Yeah.
It's different. It's like different. And like, I mean, now it is different. Like he is there a lot more. And I don't know if it just took having the second one, but like, I will not lie. I mean, with Penelope, it was her and I, and that was my little best friend. And I was afraid to be able to open up and love another baby, not that I would not love her. It's just, it's different, it's a companionship that's different when it's just you and one. And now you're gonna like, am I gonna give too much time to the baby and not enough to Penelope, and how's she gonna feel? And you start kind of building a guiltiness feeling, at least I did, of like, it's not that
one is not getting enough attention.
And like you say, it's like I still love them just as much. It's just, can I do it? Can I separate and spread my love? And I mean, of course, I obviously could.
But it is scary at first because that's all, like you only know one. Like that's all you know.
Yeah, because like you said, it makes you a mom. And they saw you struggle. They saw, I mean, not that they saw, but like they felt it. I mean, let's be honest, they felt it.
They feel everything.
They know. And like
kids
now
absorb energy, like, so I think that's why I was such a chill, like, mom. Well, I am still a chill mom, because I was like, everything I learned was like, don't stress, because the baby can feel it within you, and the baby, when you're breastfeeding, like it goes through to the baby. And so I was like, you know what, like, I'm just gonna zen, like, guys, I'm gonna be this pregnant lady and this mom that's just like, it happened, it is what it is, how do we fix it? My husband's more of the one that's like this and this and this, and he's changed a lot as well. And that's why I say, I think moving from Miami has been good, because I think his family would have just stressed him out more. But I will say the only thing he's stressed about now is like the eating. Like he'll be like, she needs to sit down and have a full meal, and like kids don't sit and have a meal. Like she'll take a bite and then run around and whatever. And I'm like, so long as the food is there and she's eating, I'm happy. Like if she goes a day without eating, then there's concerns. But he's like, she needs to sit and eat and not play. I don't know. I always say that I feel like that's the Latino in him, because his family is the same. It's like, sit down, have a meal, and you must finish your meal. And she's petite. Like I was skinny growing up, he was skinny growing up, so she's always gonna be like less than average being in her weight, but she's also super tall. So like at her doctor visits, he always asks like, why do I feel her spine? And the doctor's like, have you seen your genes? Like the girl is healthy, like there's nothing wrong with her.
Yeah, I mean, it is different, especially coming from a Latino background. Like that's one thing. Food is your fuel. Food is good for you. And why aren't you eating? You need to eat more and packing the pounds.
It's so funny because like my nephews are a little chubby, but like normal. Yeah. But they are called, like, our nicknames for them is Gordito, and then Haley's like Plaquita. Like, yeah. I'm like, can we maybe just get them like other nicknames and nothing to do with the weight?
Right. I mean, I feel like my poor doctor, because I'm like, oh, she's not eating. Like all she wants is chicken nuggets and mac and cheese, and I can't get her to eat anything else. But meanwhile, the other one's eating steak. And it's so difficult. And so like, to one thing that like stems in the back of my head, she's like, they're not going to starve themselves. Yeah. Don't worry. They're going to eat when they want to eat. And I've kind of like brought that to the home, like, because my mom kind of freaks out. She's like, she's so flaquita, same thing. Like, no le das de comer.
Like when they are hungry, they'll tell you. They're not like us. It's like, oh, it's lunchtime. Like I must eat, but I'm not hungry. I'm going to get lunch anyway.
Right. Exactly. And I've learned not to stress anymore. I'm like, she's gonna eat when she eats, and like she does. She proves me wrong. She's like, she eats like 3 pizzas, and I'm like, oh my, or 3 slices of pizzas. I mean,
we're not there yet. When she eats like a full meal, he'll be like, oh, daddy cooked you good pasta. I'm like, yeah, no, she's gonna eat for lunch and she's hungry.
Yeah, and I think it also
sometimes I just leave it. Like I let him have his moments. Like it's okay. I know that you didn't eat your peanut butter sandwich at lunch, though. I needed this. I needed the yap session as well. The yap session is always like what a mom needs.
Right? I mean, I feel like that's what I do though. I'm like your therapist, like
Yeah.
your hair therapy. But it's nice that when you find that client that also wants to know about you, and you
Yeah.
can kind of ping pong back and forth. So it's
No,
refreshing.
that's so funny that you say that because I made like a reel once where my hairstylist back in South Africa, whenever I go home, she's the first person I see. She's the first person that knows that I book a flight because I'm like, I land on this day. Can you see me? And so she knows my entire life story. She knows from pre-husband to breakup to this to that. She knows everything. And I made a reel saying like, if there's one person that really knows the inside, like me inside and out, is my hairstylist.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's so true. I mean, I feel like you find clients that like really get comfortable with you, and then like, you know, they tell you because I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna. Who am I gonna go tell? Like seriously, like I laugh, have a good time. Like I had one client that she was cracking me up. She walked in and she's like, "Oh." She just started cursing up the storm and was like, and so I just started getting, I was like, yeah, he's a dick. Like, you know, like I was just going with it. Like I was being her vibe, but like she just loved it. And we're just like having, you know, and then opened up. She felt comfortable. I started feeling comfortable because like, I'm not gonna lie, I get nervous every time I have someone on my chair. Just not that I'm not confident. It's just like, it is nerve wracking to meet someone.
Yeah.
You never know. You vibe, you don't vibe. And
That's what I was going to say. Like, if their energy's off as well, like that must be like the awkwardest like hour or 2 hours to just be here.
depending on the
like-
service. Yeah, for sure.
Oh my word! I look like a human again, guys.
Woohoo!
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you
so
much for just, like,
welcome.
yapping with me.
Me too.
I
Yeah,
loved it.
same. This is fun.
I definitely.